says rock stars only live on stage? Paul McCartney's car collection is proof that legends don't just make music, they drive it. Get ready to dive into a garage that's as iconic as his tunes. Let's begin with a rock star that balances eco-consciousness and luxury. Paul McCartney's 2008 Lexus LS 600H. This hybrid wasn't just about making a statement. It was McCartney's way of saying, I care about the planet, but also enjoy a little luxury. Lexus gifted it to him for his 65th birthday after sponsoring his US tour in 2005. But here's the kicker, the car was flown all the way in from Japan. Talk about irony, right? While it wasn't the fastest or most powerful hybrid, the LS600H still packed a punch with its 5.0-liter V8 engine and 221 HP electric motor. Back in 2008, this was a bold move, blending the luxury sedan with a taste of the eco-future. This car might not have been screaming performance, but it definitely knew how to cruise with class. Inside, it's all about luxury with leather seats, a premium sound system, and every comfort feature you could dream of. McCartney wasn't just driving a car, he was driving a statement. And when McCartney married Nancy Chevelle in 2011, guess how they rolled up to the registry office? That's right, the same Lexus LS 600H. From rock star to family man, this eco-luxury machine was there for every moment. McCartney's eco-luxury at its finest. You know you're a true legend when even your cars have their own custom-made fan clubs, right? In 2005, Paul McCartney, not content with being just a music icon, decided he needed a Cadillac CTS that was as unique as his career. And of course, Cadillac was more than happy to oblige, crafting a single edition CTS just for him. This beauty wasn't your run-of-the-mill luxury car. Under the hood, you've got a 3.6-liter VVT engine that doesn't just purr, it roars when you need it to. The 5-speed auto-stick transmission was tailor-made for smooth drives, perfect for cruising through LA or just hitting the open road. And let's not forget about the features. We're talking luxury, comfort, and the kind of style you'd expect from a rock legend. Seriously, if this car were any cooler, it would come with its own soundtrack. But here's the twist. After living the rock star dream with it, McCartney didn't just park the Cadillac in his garage and call it a day. He donated to a charity that helps with minefield clearance and survivor assistance. Paul McCartney's taste in cars is as iconic as his music. Timeless, bold, and always with a heart of gold. Let's talk about how Paul McCartney doesn't do ordinary when it comes to cars. The man's a legend, and his ride had to reflect that. Enter the 1985 Mercedes-Benz 500 SE, a car so full of luxury and swagger, it practically screams, I'm here, I'm McCartney, and I'm driving in style. This isn't your average ride. This Mercedes is powered by a 5.0-liter V8 engine, pushing out 241 horsepower. Whether he's cruising through the streets of London or rolling up to a red carpet event, this car says it all. And let's not forget the 4-speed automatic gearbox, providing that perfect balance of smooth comfort and power when you need it. But McCartney didn't stop there. Oh no, he took it a step further by giving the car a full restoration. The Lorena Sports body kit paired with a custom nautical blue paint job instantly makes it stand out. And those monoblock style alloy wheels, refurbished and shining, ready to steal the spotlight. This isn't just a car, it's a statement. When McCartney hits the road in the 500 SE, it's more than just driving, it's about making an entrance. It's the kind of car that makes you feel like belting out, oh darling, every time you turn the key. When you think of Beverly Hills and Paul McCartney, you might picture sunshine, luxury, and of course, a ride to match. Enter the 2003 Chevrolet C5 Corvette, McCartney's star-spangled statement car. But Paul didn't just pick any Corvette. He chose the 5th generation, the C5, with a 5.7-liter V8 churning out 345 horsepower. This American beauty is pure performance wrapped in sleek aerodynamic design. McCartney's been cruising this beast since 2005, and it's easy to see why. Living in LA, you got to embrace the convertible life, and that's exactly what Paul did, because really, who wouldn't want the wind in their hair while zooming through endless sunshine in a car that screams cool? The composite fiberglass body keeps the Corvette lightweight, while the aerodynamic body, with a drag coefficient of 0.29, keeps things smooth as he effortlessly glides along California streets. But let's not forget the LS1 engine, an American tuner's dream. And the fact that this car was built to keep you glued to your seat with its low ride height and smoother cornering, it's no wonder Paul keeps his Corvette tucked away in his LA garage. After all, some things are meant to stay legendary. In 2008, Paul McCartney and his then-girlfriend Nancy Chevelle embarked on a legendary road trip along Route 66. But instead of zipping through the heart of America in some sleek sports car, they opted for a humble yet reliable 1989 Ford Bronco. This wasn't your typical rock star ride, but then again, Paul McCartney's not your typical rock star. Sure, the Bronco wasn't about speed or luxury, but there was something irresistibly charming about this off-road beast. Maybe it was the 5.0-liter V8 engine that hummed along, powering through scenic American landscapes, or maybe it was the simplicity of the journey that made it special. Whatever the reason, it wasn't just a road trip, it was the start of something meaningful for Paul and Nancy. The Bronco may not have had the latest tech or cutting-edge features, but it had practicality in spades. Its 4x4 capabilities made it the perfect companion for those dusty, winding roads, and its roomy boot was perfect for packing everything they needed: snacks, guitars, and of course, memories. Keyless entry and 3-point seatbelts added a little modern touch to an otherwise rugged ride. The Bronco's fate might be a mystery, but one thing's clear: it was more than just a car. It marked the beginning of McCartney's next great adventure. Before Aston Martins, Lamborghinis, and million-dollar auction cars, Paul McCartney had a much simpler ride: the 1962 Ford Consul Classic. And let's be honest, this wasn't the kind of car you'd expect from a rising rock star. Ford proudly claimed it was suitable for the golf club car park. In other words, posh, but not exactly exciting. With a 1.5-liter straight-four engine making a thrilling 59 horsepower, the Consul Classic wasn't setting any records. 0 to 62 miles an hour in a yawn-inducing 22.5 seconds? Yep. But that didn't stop young Paul from testing its limits a little too much. After 2 speeding tickets, he went for the hat trick, earning himself a 25-pound fine and 12-month driving ban. A local newspaper had a field day reporting on James Paul McCartney, 21-year-old musician, caught speeding along Seabank Road. And here's the best part. Legend has it that after leaving court, he turned to his girlfriend Jane Asher and quipped, "Baby, you can drive my car." Yep, before it was a song, it was real life. It may not have been fast, but this quirky little Ford kick-started McCartney's love affair with cars. Let's kick things off with a car that proves luxury isn't always about shiny paint and sleek curves. Sometimes it's about raw, rugged charm. Enter the 1955 Land Rover Series I-86, a vehicle that's less red carpet and more muddy trails. Affectionately named Helen Wheels because, of course, Paul McCartney would come up with a pun this good, this Land Rover was McCartney's trust companion during his time at his Scottish farm. Powered by a 2.0-liter petrol engine and equipped with four-wheel drive, this wasn't just a car, it was a workhorse. Whether it was hauling hay, navigating rocky paths, or simply cruising through the countryside, Helen Wheels was always up for the task. It's the kind of vehicle that doesn't just get you from point A to point B, it makes the journey an adventure. But here's where it gets even cooler. McCartney didn't just drive this car, he immortalized it. The trusty Land Rover inspired a Paul McCartney and Wings B-side titled Helen Wheels. Because when you're a rock star, even your car has its own soundtrack. This Land Rover wasn't just about showing off, it was about living life on your own terms. Picture McCartney behind the wheel, driving through the Scottish Highlands surrounded by rolling hills and crisp, fresh air. It's the kind of down-to-earth, no-frills lifestyle we all dream about sometimes. So, while it might not have been the flashiest car in his collection, it was definitely one of the most meaningful. Imagine being a Beatle in the late 60s with the world at your feet and endless royalties coming in. What's the perfect way to enjoy it? For Paul McCartney, it was the 1967 Lamborghini 400 GT 2+2. In 1968, McCartney decided his garage needed Italian flair, and this car was the answer, because anything less wouldn't cut it. This wasn't just a flashy sports car. The 400 GT 2+2 was a masterpiece with a 4.0-liter V12 engine delivering 320 horsepower and a top speed of 167. Sure, it was overkill for traffic in London, but when you're a rock star running late to a recording session, a little speed doesn't hurt. McCartney's Lambo was a rare gem. His model was a right-hand drive version in deep red with beige pigskin interior. Designed by Carrozzeria Touring, it combined Lamborghini's raw performance with elegant Italian designs. In many ways, this car was as much of a rock star as Paul himself. And that V12 engine, it didn't just power the car, it created a symphony of sound that made every drive a performance. With a car that sounds this good, who needs a radio? McCartney clearly knew how to enjoy life in style. Who says rock stars can drive only massive, gas-guzzling luxury cars? Paul McCartney's 1965 Mini Cooper S. DeVille proves that big attitude comes in small packages. When the Beatles' manager, Brian Epstein, gifted each member a Mini Cooper S, McCartney could have just taken the keys and called it a day. But no, he had to make it something special. Enter Harold Radford, the legendary coach builder known for turning everyday cars into rolling works of art. McCartney's Mini went through a VIP transformation, emerging as a Radford DeVille, a car so fancy it made most luxury sedans look like economy rentals. Painted in Aston Martin California Sage, the car had DB5 taillights, a black leather interior, electric windows, and even a walnut dashboard, because apparently a normal dashboard just wasn't posh enough. Oh, and let's not forget the full-length sunroof, perfect for soaking in those few sunny days in Liverpool. At the end of the day, who needs a stretched-out Rolls when you got a Mini that's fancier than a five-star hotel? McCartney's little green machine proved that style isn't about size, it's about making a statement. Some cars whisper luxury, others shout performance. But the 1966 Austin Healey 3000, this one sings British charm at the top of its lungs. It's the kind of car that makes you want to take the long way home just to feel the road underneath you. Sleek, powerful, and endlessly stylish, this classic roadster was beloved by driving enthusiasts, and for good reason. It had all the right curves and the right kind of presence that demands attention without even trying. McCartney's version was no exception. Under the hood sat a 3.0-liter inline-six engine, delivering enough punch to make those country roads feel like a racetrack. Add in that classic convertible top and you got the ultimate wind in your hair, music in your head experience. Picture it, Paul cruising through the English countryside, working out the melody for a future hit song while the engine hums like the perfect background track. It's the kind of car you can almost hear the engines roar in your head just as you're imagining driving it. What sets the Austin Healey 3000 apart from the rest of Paul's collection wasn't just its performance, but its purity. Unlike the larger, more luxurious cars in his garage, the Healey was all about the joy of driving, lightweight, well-balanced, and no frills. It's the kind of car that strips driving down to its most authentic form. In an age where cars have become more about tech and luxury, the Austin Healey reminds us of the simple pleasure of just hitting the road and feeling alive. Now, let's step into pure luxury. When you've already got stadiums full of screaming fans, more hits than you can count, and a legacy that'll outlive generations, what do you drive? If you're Paul McCartney, the answer is the 1973 Rolls-Royce Corniche, a car that doesn't just take you from point A to B, it makes a statement the entire way. This isn't just a car, it's a rolling palace on wheels. Powered by a 4.75 V8 engine, the Corniche wasn't built for speed, it was built for presence. The handcrafted interior, let's just say, is fit for a rock icon. Think sumptuous leather seats, rich wood paneling, and enough space to stretch out like you're lounging in a five-star hotel on wheels. If a car ever screamed rockstar, this one does in every luxurious detail. But for McCartney, Rolls-Royce wasn't just about the prestige, it was about the experience. The smooth, effortless comfort while cruising in style. Whether heading to a concert, a recording session, or a peaceful retreat in the countryside, the Corniche ensured every trip felt like a VIP experience. Picture it. Paul cruising through London, probably humming a new tune, while the world freaked out over the Beatles. Doesn't that sound like a rock star's dream ride? If the Aston Martin DB5 was McCartney's first love, then the 1966 Aston Martin DB6 was his soulmate. And honestly, can you blame him? This stunning machine wasn't just a car, it was a rolling piece of art. Ordered direct from the factory in Goodwood Green, the DB6 wasn't just an upgrade from its predecessor, it was a masterpiece on wheels. With a longer wheelbase, improved aerodynamics, and that signature cambock tail, the DB6 wasn't just about looking sleek. It was about owning the road with effortless style and surprising speed. But here's where it truly gets legendary. Legend has it McCartney cruised through the chaotic London traffic, the melody for Hey Jude started playing in his head. Picture it. There he is, stuck in traffic, tapping his fingers on the steering wheel and casually writing one of the biggest songs ever. While most of us would be grumbling about the delay, Paul turned it into a musical moment that would go down in history. The DB6 wasn't just a car, it was his creative oasis, a mobile recording studio and a symbol of pure rock star luxury. It's a car that helped fuel one of the greatest musical legacies ever, proving that sometimes the perfect ride can be as inspiring as the music itself. At number 2, we have something unexpected, the 1972 Lamborghini Espada S2. Now, McCartney was no stranger to British classics, but this car was his way of saying, let's spice things up a little. And what better way to do that than with a low-slung, fire-breathing Italian V12. With a 3.9-liter V12 engine pumping out 350 horsepower, the Espada was a beast in disguise. It wasn't just fast, it was built for blistering highway speeds and smooth, effortless, long drives. This car was designed to take on cross-country roads with ease, and Paul's version, well, you couldn't miss it. A bright red Lambo, practically begging for attention, had Rockstar written all over it. But the Espada wasn't just about raw power, it was about making a statement. Its bold wedge-shaped design by Marcello Gandini was way ahead of its time, futuristic and stylish and still powerful enough to demand respect. And the fact that it's a four-seater Lamborghini, that was practically unheard of back then, but leave it to McCartney to break the mold. Imagine pulling up to a stoplight, minding your own business in your sensible sedan, and then boom, Paul McCartney in a red Lamborghini, casually waiting for the light to change. That's a sight that would make anyone's day unforgettable. The Espada was more than just a car, it was pure, unapologetic style. And finally, the crown jewel of McCartney's collection, the 1964 Aston Martin DB5. Sure, it's famous as the Bond ride, but let's be real. Paul McCartney gave it just as much of a rock star status. This wasn't just a car, it was a statement, a bold declaration that the kid from Liverpool had officially arrived. Finished in the stunning California sage green, this DB5 screamed class. The wood grain interior, gleaming chrome accents, and handcrafted leather seats turned every drive into a royal affair. And under the hood, a 4.0-liter straight-six engine delivering 282 horsepower. It wasn't just a muscle car, but it had enough power to make an entrance that only a true legend could pull off. An entrance he did. Whether McCartney was rolling up to Abbey Road Studios or cruising the streets of London, this car turned heads. It even made an appearance in the Magical Mystery Tour, because of course a Beatles car deserves its moment in the spotlight. Years later, in 2017, this incredible piece of rock and roll history went under the hammer. The final price, a cool $1.3 million. Not bad for a car that once carried the man who wrote Yesterday. The DB5 is not just a car, it's part of McCartney's legacy, a true symbol of rock star opulence and undeniable history. Cars have always been more than a mode of transportation. They're a reflection of personality and style. Paul McCartney's collection is the perfect blend of rock star elegance and luxury. Let us know which car you'd take for a spin.